we did a lot of things as well. We went through a lot of different books and studying and reading, and especially, I have to say, emotion code and body code. And Franz became a therapist. And he's really also, I agree with the other couple, working for the public, working for others, really helps you to assess yourself.
Hey, you're listening to the Blessed Couple Podcast, where we talk about how to do this marriage thing and experience God in the process. I hope you enjoy and subscribe. Let's get started.
There's a reason why we brought these couples on, because they, went through difficulty and they came out the other side even closer, it seems to be a recurring theme for all really inspiring couples that you meet. You can almost guarantee that that's the result of something challenging that they overcame together, and that made them closer to that. And so that's the case with these three couples. And so we wanted to allow them to share their story. And before we get really deep into it, maybe a little bit, I'll give you a chance to share a little bit about your background. When were you blessed? How many children do you have? And what's one thing you like about your spouse? So we'll start with Franz and Patricia.
Okay, thank you. Well, we have 2 sons and one daughter.
Mm-hmm.
3 children.
3 children.
3 children.
That makes 3.
Yeah.
Now, to the
When
first.
were we blessed?
When
were we blessed?
I hope very soon.
Yeah, no, we were blessed. We were blessed in 89, and we were matched in 87.
Mm-hmm.
We were matched in New York in 87, and blessed in 89 in Korea.
Yeah.
Having 3 children. And what was the next question? What do we like about each other?
Yeah, just one thing you like about your spouse.
Well, maybe I can introduce a bit ourselves. I mean, for understanding our story, we have to understand also our backgrounds. I come from a very big family. I have 2 brothers, 4 sisters. And for me, family ideals, they were always in my heart. So when I joined a family movement, I felt like, this is something I was dreaming of. And because of this, I was very connected to the ideal. And then I went to 1981 to matching in Germany, and then 1982 to the blessing in Korea. And then in 1983, this girl I was blessed with fell and left the church. And I was still in a big trouble with this, because I felt inside, what happens? What's wrong with me that I'm not lovable, that she could not love me? And then I went to America. I worked there for doing a different mission because I wanted to have a real big change. And I thought maybe this can help me to overcome. But actually, I brought all my baggage with me. And then when I was called in 1987 to go to a matching again, it was not easy for me to go. I felt like, should I really go? Should I really go to a matching again? Should I really go through this again? And then at the matching time, I could see through Father matching, and it was like a film for me, until late in the evening I got matched with Patricia. And we looked at each other and we thought, okay, we both believe in true parents, and we want to accept this matching. But then shortly after, I could see that our couple actually was not easy because of cultural background, because of spiritual background, because of differences. And at this point, I really had to make up my mind. What do I want to do? Because from the hurt I had in my heart, I could say, okay, that's again a story like this. Just let it go. Just go away. Or I could say, okay, first time I was cheated by Satan from my ideal, and he had taken away my blessing. And now I want to fight for it. And this was a choice I was standing in front of. And I really had to make up my mind, what do I want to do with this? And I chose to fight for it. And fighting for it meant even go back to Europe, leave my mission in America, even having a fight with the regional director, and said, no, I have to go there. Because I felt God told me, if you don't go there, then you will lose again the blessing. And so I went back to Europe, and then we started to live together. And now Patrizia can tell you a bit more.
Yeah, basically, he said what I really like about him.
Yeah.
I like his fighting spirit. I
Yeah.
like the fact that he never gave up on me, because I was really terrible. I have been a really challenging person. And he helped me to discover a lot of myself and to discover what does it mean to be blessed and what does it mean to create an original family centered on God. Because this is totally different from the expectation that I had when I was 27 years old, going to my first blessing and being disappointed because I had very wrong expectations. I don't want to steal time from other people, but anyway, this is my point toward him. I don't know what he likes about me, because I made his way really, really hard. But I have to say, we came closer and closer. We fought on different things. We fought on so many things. But we were united in God and in the ideal. And we love to have a family, and many more things we could also share. But so I don't want to steal time from other couples. But what do you like about me?
I mean, first of all, I think if there would not have been difficulties, this would have stayed in some corner of my heart, and it would have come out at some point. But it had to come out because the difficulties were there, and I had to bring them out, and I had to solve them. And she helped me real a lot with this, even giving me sometimes real hard time. But what I really love on her is that we share one ideal together, that we can come together on helping in other people. Because by helping brothers and sisters, we help ourselves. And that she is so alive and has so much energy in giving so much to brothers and sisters. And Blessed Family Department is real so much about this.
Let's give time to them.
Yeah.
I think it really expresses your guys' heart, that what I meant to just ask a lighthearted question, but that you really wanted to sincerely answer and to share. Thank you. I do appreciate that. You want to share very sincerely, not just something light, but deeply what you love about one another. And so I really got that. Yeah. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's like a real love for one another. Thank you.
Thank you, Sammy.
Thank you.
So then, Jacek and Miyoung, how long have you been blessed? How many children do you have? Something you like about one another?
Sure, yeah. Yes, we were blessed in the 30,000 couple blessing 1992 in Korea, matched by through parents matching, by picture matching. So basically we knew each other one day before we already married. And we have 6 children. We have 2 sons and 4 daughters. The oldest is 24, the youngest 15. And then, of course, there's a lot of qualities my wife has. It's not easy to choose one particular, but I definitely like her patience, persistence, and love to God, towards God. That's things which really help our couple to survive. How about you?
Yes, the front part is true. What I appreciate about my husband, he's very intelligent. He's very deep in the way that he God-centered, and also he's a very good speaker. I mean, he's broad-minded, so I really appreciate about him.
Thank you. It's nice to hear. Thank you. All right, Uyanga. How long have you two been blessed? How many children do you have? What do you like about Andrew?
Yeah, what do you like?
Yeah, we blessed 2012 through Father's Day last blessing. And now we are 8 years and we have 3 children.
Mm-hmm.
3 boys.
3 boys.
3 boys.
6 for 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
And we are very busy with them. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm really grateful for my husband. It's really amazing blessing for me. And I just want to say that couples, Messiah for each other. That's what I really feel. So I'm really grateful. Without,
Wow.
I don't know.
Yeah. She's helped me a lot, I'll have to say. She's not in a rush to go anywhere, and I'm in a rush all the time. And so then I realized, well, where am I going without her? There's no point. So then we just, it's like the dumbest thing. Where am I going? Why am I always in a rush? She's where I'm supposed to go. So I'm learning. Seeing this summit has helped me realize how far I have to go still. Yeah.
Okay. So you appreciate how much she makes you struggle and makes you grow? Is that
No, how she's in no rush to go anywhere because she's just happy where she is. And I'm just eternally restless, trying to run around and put out fires that don't even exist. And then she's just contented. And then I come back and I'm like, oh, because you were right where you were supposed to be, which is right where you are. It's just like a calm. She represents, like, she is who she is, and she's, it's a very beautiful thing.
Yeah, I think we really like opposite side, and then we come to meet middle, and then things balance.
Slowly.
That's what
slowly.
I feel.
I'm very pleased with that. I love how each of you took that question very sincerely. And I feel already you shared very deeply with everybody about something that you deeply love about your spouse. And I think that's really a reflection of where you are now. And you have this close bond with each other. And so we'd like to talk about what brought you there. And you're each brought here because you went through some challenge. And so if you're willing to share with us, what was the biggest struggle that your couple had to overcome during the blessing? We'll start maybe Andrew, since you're there, you and Uyanga. Because you were kind of alluding to it a little bit.
Yeah, well, the one thing, I'll let her talk about it, but like she had like a deep depression and some spiritual stuff that nobody could really explain especially after our second son. And I was like losing my mind because it was like I was trying everything, but I couldn't do anything to help her. So anyway, I'd like for her to talk about it because I was just an outsider trying to, like a man, fix the problem, and I was making everything worse. Everything I tried only make things worse. So.
Okay. During this our blessing time, one of the biggest struggle was, now I realize like what was that? Postpartum depression.
Postpartum depression.
Yeah, postpartum depression. And then what this meaning is for me is it's like physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. I don't know how I can explain, like not function well. Like I remember like Andrew was asking me more often, like, can you please present with us? Like, can you be with us? But and then he will ask, can you do these things? Like sometimes when he come back home, I just not cook it, the food. Like even I like not so much hungry. And then like just irregular things, like so much big for me, challenge for me. And then this one is during that time for me is like most I needed was for the kind of mother figure or like really close friend, because we are like, since we start family, we always move around. Like longest place we stayed like 2 or 1 year and then move next place. That's why we couldn't make the long-term friend. And then like share my heart. Like I can just, hey, can you come here? Can you help me watch for my kids? Or like, I cannot ask anybody like that, because also our family in Mongolia and he's in Canada, we just there by ourselves, which is for me is no help. And then that things is like, I was like, oh, I mentally easily go down. But and then we overcome. The big help was the travel.
Well, we'll get to that. Are we going to get to that later? Do you want to do how do we overcome? Because that was the thing. We're faithful and we are very present to the spirit world, but when there's like depression, it hits on your mental well-being, your spiritual well-being, your physical well-being. Although a lot of people are very, very easily give you all this advice of what you should do, we weren't able to get, we were isolated. We were looking, I was a pastor at the time, and we couldn't find anybody that could just help us like parents, you know? And so we were just suffering from just feeling like totally alone, and just, that was only compounding all the problems. So I think that was the main issue, is when she fell into this deep state of depression, she wasn't accessible to anybody, and we had no idea what to do. So I guess we'll leave it at that. And if we have time to talk about the how we overcame, we'll leave it like a cliffhanger.
Yeah, that's quite a cliffhanger, but thank you for sharing so intimately. And I get Yatsek and Migyung like opportunity for you to share your story with us.
Actually, a blessing is quite interesting thing. Our movement, provides us kind of functional marriage. It's just marriage where you can work out many things. And then our main issue was a man and woman relationship. I think it was incredible tough for us, and then also cultural things, racial things, definitely. So basically, you can write a whole book how to be blessed and not kill each other. For some time, I was thinking two murders are married together, and then went so far that I really had a desire to kill my wife. I would say we started with a mindset. I started with mindset that women are so stupid, basically. And then more beautiful they are, more stupid they are, even, yeah. So that was my inherited mindset. And what was yours?
Basically, my belief or subconscious mind, I have the words that men are not trustworthy. So with this kind of mindset, we began like this, and we had a lot to do throughout the years to really work on ourselves.
Right. And the second, think, which we faced and was incredibly tough, that right after blessing, we faced enormous conflict because of racial things. So what my welcome, to the marriage was?
Actually, my husband was not very welcome. Being a Korean, and because of the lineage, I'm the first one to break the lineage, right? So thinking about my relatives and my family and so on, I had the expectation I wanted a Korean as a spouse. So my expectation caused a lot of, I believe, pain and a lot of conflict in this way.
I think this is too much of a cliffhanger. I think we'll go deep with each couple. So then Franz and Patricia, we go, because we need to know how, right? And then we'll swing back to Andrew and Yanga. But you started so much going against you, like thinking your wife was not your wife, women are stupid, and not having any respect for your wife, having no trust for men. And on top of that, having your family who you care about and just having them really against this relationship that you're committing to. So what pulled you through this?
I mean, one thing, actually, my mindset, my thinking was that how can I restore my relatives and my family having somebody else other than Korean? So I myself, I really felt I need help. So together with my Korean husband, we can do this. But you see, that was my mistake, not having the mindset of God. That was my mistake. Yeah.
Yeah, basically, we had to figure out what is going on, because one of the first moment my wife shared with me, we are in war, and I'm going to fight with you, and then I'm going to win. Yeah, so this was her like statement, of our marriage, and then I was shocked, and she was stuck, and then we had to start with that. It took us a moment of a couple of years to realize what really going on, yeah. And then, of course, we had to go into the research about ourselves, about our roots, about the roots of our beliefs, and also about what disturbs us in this process of really restoring things, which is our habits, our customs, our shortcomings, traumas, incredibly affected, So we had to first figure out how to set ourselves, how to really heal ourselves. And then from that moment, how to really consciously, proactively take care of this issue which are in front of us.
Wow. So you really went to work on yourselves. You went inside and you looked at where are these feelings or this perspective, where is it coming from?
Absolutely.
And healing, I guess healing yourself. Is that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, wow. That it makes sense, and it's really inspiring to see that you did it. Yeah, I am really curious, what were the things that helped you? But now we got the answer that, wow, you just really simply you worked on yourselves and it made a big difference. And I think you said it was an understatement. You said it took you a couple years to realize what was going on. I think there's some couples out there that still haven't realized what's going on. And then they're still, so really, I commend you guys. That's nice to hear.
Actually, another thing, we realize this is beyond our power, beyond our abilities. We realize this is really, we are loaded with our
multi-generational inheritance.
Yeah, loaded with our ancestors' plans and their burdens. We are continuing correcting their mistakes and so on.
Thank you.
Hey, if you're getting something good from this episode, it would mean the world to us if you could share it with someone you love or leave a 5-star review, because the only way this podcast spreads around is through word of mouth. So a share or a review would go a long way, and it only takes like 10 seconds to do. Thanks. Back to the show.
We'll give an opportunity for Franz and Patricia. We'd love to hear your story. You did allude to it a little bit, that you Franz at least started from a very determined place, that he wanted to make your blessing work, right? So we'd like to continue the story. And
then also Patricia was saying how much of a troublemaker she was.
Right, yeah. We need to hear the backstory to this.
Yeah, actually, he came from far because he was really suffering. But I have to say, I was suffering too, in a different way. And one of the most struggling points for me, it was to really see that we were completely different from one another. And I was, of course, being a first generation blessed couple, you come from the outside world and you have some kind of idea of what is love. And I expected something like very different from what I found, actually. And I really had to work very hard on myself, because the first main differences that came up was that he was Austrian and I was Italian, and especially I was born in a place where Austrian and Italians fought a lot, one against each other. And during the wartime, and Europe is really like, it needs so much restoration of heart. And many nations, many people that they say, I hate French, I hate Austrians, I hate this, I hate that. But this comes, like the other couple said before, from ancestral background, from people who really hate each other because of their past, because of war.
Yeah, I remember when we went up the first time here in the mountains in Piedmont, Patricia was just throwing up.
It was, I mean, it was really too much for me, even physically, to be with him. I mean, the first time I introduced him to my parents, it was hilarious because my mom came to me silently and she told me, he looks like a good man, but he looks to me like a soldier from the war. So it was my whole family accepting something. And we went to the hills around where we are living right now. And there were like partisan area, like soldier place where they were fighting, exactly the place where the partisans were fighting with Austrians. And I couldn't stand that. I was just crying out and throwing up, literally throwing up. And I remember we just hugged each other and I felt peace, but from really far. Like this peace was there, but it was so difficult to bring it to my days, you know? So it was really a big job. It was like a huge wall. And I have to say, we broke this wall little by little. I mean, there were lots of differences, like even stupid differences between us. Still they are. I mean, still we are totally different, I have to say. But we could break through with different things. And I believe that we still have to break through a lot. We are just growing together. And I'm so pleased that True Father is thinking about these international couples, because if we solve something among each other, then we can actually solve much bigger things among nations. This I really feel. Actually, I really see this, and I see like Italy has many second-gen couples, Italian, Austrian, they're really happy. And so I feel like, oh yes, I contribute to something myself to maybe open up those walls among the nations. Yeah, this was one of our biggest things that we have to overcome. There are many, many things, but I think you have to first be vulnerable and be sincere to one another, and then start working on that and be willing, really willing and determined to never give up and to work on.
Faith helps a lot in the beginning, but then it means also to find methods and to serve. Because I had to serve here and without expecting too much. And then to service and to helping also externally here, I could win the people's heart and they could start to respect me as a person. And not see anymore, oh, he's Austrian, but he's a human being.
Yeah, more. They love you here. Yeah. I mean, I have to say, my old village, I mean, really, they love him a lot. So, yeah, maybe we can.
Yeah,
we can share much more, but time is.
Yeah. Unfortunately, but I really can hear through your story that how this national restoration is a very real thing, and you experience so strongly, especially not just a whole country, but your very specific area had this deep conflict, violent conflict you had to overcome together. And even this, your family being reminded of the soldiers from a long time ago, and that's such a challenging thing to work through. And you guys, yeah, I'd love to hear it. You did the work, but we want to go a little more into that. What was the work, right? So then let's hear a little more from Andrew and Uyanga. And I just want, especially, I didn't take the moment to thank you, Andrew and Uyanga, for addressing that this is postpartum depression, that's something, it's on the list of stuff that surprisingly many people experience, but no one ever talks about. It's just one of those things that just has this barrier to being able to openly share about it. So thank you for opening up about that. And so this is what you guys experienced. And what was it that was able to bring you through this?
Yeah, I mentioned, why, like physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. It's like everything I can't explain. And when people see me, like, oh, she's fine, like healthy, look like okay, like everything is fine. But inside me, like I cannot breathe. And then also culture different in Western and Eastern. In Eastern world, when after give birth, you need to like 40 days stay at home, stay warm. Or like over there is like just take shower, like go out hiking, whatever. And then inside my heart, I want to do my culture, like whatever, like growing up, my mom, the teaching, seeing all women like stay warm. Even hot summer, they will wear the hat. And then
they don't leave the house and they don't shower after, like for a certain period of time after a baby.
Right. Yeah, even like Japanese, like 40 days, they didn't go out from the home like that. And then I just like, okay, I totally alone, like that the culture. And my mother-in-law, she came and helped us. And then I just reject my things.
Well, we don't have that much time. So he's asking what was the solution? Like,
Yeah, that's why this is connected to going to Mongolia. I basically last year, and the Mongolia, we have the specialist healing, kind of like physically, the spiritually, the people healing. And then I go through that healing process. And then that one is basically I get understand and the healing process, go through it. And then main thing was like travel. We was get out from that whatever we place there, and then go to the travel and meet with the people, new environment, and then that can force me to the different place with the people. And then that one is I can realize the things, and then gradually more healing.
So traveling is what she's saying, and also going to some healers, and also going home to Mongolia, right? She just needed
all that.
Yeah, it was, everything about the Western world and how they treat birds is extremely different than how they do it in Mongolia. So just there's a lot of healing that needed to happen, and needed to happen on her home turf, which happens to be like the farthest, most remote country.
Right.
So we just thought she had to get home. She had to get home, basically. That was a big thing, and she needed space to heal. And an issue that we deal with in this generation is like being separated from parents and like not having a support system. So when you have more than one kid, Sammy, you're having your second baby, it becomes exponentially more complicated because the mom can't rest as much, because then there's just more bodies and everything becomes more hectic. So she never had that rest. She got some of that, and it helped. And we've been working on it. So just giving her space. I was really kind of demanding too much of her, I think. And I needed to just give her space to heal. And I don't think in the West, at least in America, I don't think there's a lot of value placed on healing and just chilling out.
Yes, you gotta fix it. You don't just let it run its course and heal.
I'm sure there's a pill for your problem, Thank
you. So I want to just, gosh, that session, the time went by so fast. My goodness. But I wanted to circle around to hear a little bit about what were the things that you did that was able to help you in these ways. So Yatsek and Migyung, where did you turn to be able to discover all these things that you did about yourselves?
Yeah, of course, basically because both having a religious background, so we turned to, on the beginning, prayer and conditions and studying, reading. But it didn't work out. We realized because we have also this mental sphere and emotional whatever. So we started to go deeper and deeper and explore, our minds and explore our backgrounds, explore our worlds, environment, everything. We found out so many things. This awareness was so important to us. We found out that because my wife said to me, my ancestors were the murderers and rapists, and then that they committed so many crimes, and I thought, wow, here's a proof. I have another wise lady. Yeah. After years, I found out that part of my ancestry from north of Manchuria, which invaded Korea some years ago in the 13th century. And then I did some DNA researches or whatever. And we realized it could be part of these things. So I had to take it more seriously. We, of course, started with listening. And then listening to each other and listening to our relatives, listening to very wise people. I remember first time we really listened each other attentively was like for straight for 3 days and nights, without sleeping, without eating, just going to bathroom, and then she could express, through this time for her life, And then also the changing attitude, come out of the being a victim and become more proactive. So we turned to professionals. Already in 1993, I met Richard Cohen, his first healing seminars.
Wow.
It helped me a lot. And then we had some all professionals, Marjorie Hill in Europe, and then Lubelia Palpi with her family constellation, and then Margot Kislov from Norway. Any opportunity we could have, we used to really dig in ourselves and then to heal ourselves. So This also was very valuable, a lot of literature. And then maybe she also has her part, she has for her champion work very well, yeah?
I can say for my part that champion and the liberations and blessings of our ancestors played a major role, along with our searching, our professional help that we got. And mainly, also, I really want to emphasize is our true parents' words helped me a lot when I was in the bottom and when we were struggling a lot. So many days, I mean, just holding on to true parents' words and just praying like out of desperation. So lonely nights where we couldn't understand each other. And my husband was under heavy depression. We could not communicate. So along with the professional help, but in the night, I held on to true parents' words and just praying desperately for the way out, for solutions. So I owe it to God and true parents. Yeah.
So to wrap it up, took us 21 years, to my wife say, yes, I can accept you as a husband. And 24 years in reality.
I mean, because of our start, I was very wavering, unstable, and it was really a tough time where I can't even say publicly. I had hundreds of times where I was confronted to leave, to go. And even leaving children, I was that much egoistic.
Not egoistic, under that much pressure.
Yeah, I mean, that was the beginning so tough that I even was banging my head on the wall. Just the pressure was so much, overwhelming.
I really appreciate the respect that you had to blend spiritual practice and also practical psychological professional help, and you used all of the resources, not just one avenue, but used every resource available.
And Sami, last thing, what really made a boost our development was the public service. Because when you really work publicly, then you consider people around you, you really boost your change, you really push yourself, you really require from yourself a lot more in order to be more trustworthy, more truthful. So God gave us this chance to really speed up this process through public life.
That is a gem right there, the value of public service. Yes. I want to give Franz and Patrizia just a cup. We're very much over, but a moment just to share what's one thing that really helped your couple.
I can just say one sentence that it was like, because time is really going fast, but one sentence that helped me along my whole life in my blessing is that a sentence that true mothers say to a couple that was struggling a lot years and years ago when he was working directly with True Father and he was really not getting along with his wife, and his wife was Korean and he was American, and they were talking to True Mother, and True Mother say to him, do you know True Father is loving the whole world, 7 billion people in the whole world. Can you just help the providence by loving one person? And somebody told me this story just before my blessing. And I thought, yeah, that is what I'm gonna do. But of course, we did a lot of things as well. We went through a lot of different books and studying and reading, and especially I have to say, emotion code, embodied code, and Franz became a therapist. And he's really also, I agree with the other couple, working for the public, working for others, really helps you to assess yourself.
I want to connect because two things I want to end with is I think everything that each of you three couples touched on is something that someone listening is giving them hope for their own relationship. And they see themselves in what you shared, and that they can have what you have now. And so I'd really like to leave people an opportunity, if you're willing to, if people want to connect with you, is there a place that they can find you to be able to speak with you?
Yes, of course. They can write us. You can pass email. We are on Facebook. As emotion code on Facebook as well.
Yeah.
You can say something.
Yeah, I'm working very much with emotion code and body code because it's a tool which helps very much. 99% of the people I'm working with are not of our movement.
So to connect with you two individually, Facebook is the best place to find you. And they have, your name is posted on the screen for people so they can see your names. It's like they can find you. And
Yeah.
right. And for
Yeah.
Yasutakes and Young, where's somewhere that people can connect with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, they can do it through Facebook. We can actually make a small page, like Glano Training Center, and then we can welcome people if somebody wants to. This is Jacek Chon is the name of the web page. But if somebody wants to really ask for a story and what was useful for us, we can always share with that. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. And then for Andrew and Uyanga, where can
If
people
you want to
find
contact us, just call Sammy. Sammy's
Yeah.
my
your agent?
he's
Right.
my handler. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and so the last thing I want to thank you and acknowledge you. I think each of you, your couples, really exemplify the heart of restoration. You started in a very difficult place, but you didn't stay there. You had the heart to create victory, create love in your relationship. And that is so moving to see. And just that you played the long game in your relationship and to not just find love and hope you get it, but to create it. And so you are all such beautiful couples. And so thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having all of us. Thank you.
Right.
Matthew.
Thank you for
Thank you.
Nice
inviting
to see you all.
High noon for doing this great job.
us.
Wow, it's cute. Bye-bye.
All right.
Have a
Bye-bye.
Hey, if you want to improve your relationship or take your sex life to the next level, well, you're in luck because more than 70% of couples that take our Love and Integrity course said that the quality of their sexual relationship improved after joining the course. Sounds good? You can join the program today with your spouse or just take the course by yourself at loveandintegrity.com. See you in the next episode.